afternoon, everyone, and welcome to one of RVN's still newish shows, What the Why with Barbara Ann. If you haven't seen us before, our show features conversations with diverse leaders from all walks of life about why they do what they do and how they figured it out. In your case, maybe you happen to feel stuck and you want to get unstuck, or maybe you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. All of our guests have something in common with you. They felt similarly at some point in their lives, and they decided to do whatever they needed to figure out how to get unstuck and move forward and live their best life or purpose or why or whatever you want to call it. And today's guest is no exception. Our guest is Dr. Jackeline Mejias Fuertes. She's the Regional Director of America's Small Business Development Center of New Jersey at Brookdale Community College, which is based in New Jersey. Dr. Mejias Fuertes, fortunately I just get to call her Jackie, is a seasoned business advisor, leader, strategist, speaker, and entrepreneur. She's an expert in business development, providing strategic management, leadership development, and operational guidance to small business and entrepreneurs throughout the region. In addition to her role as regional director, she's also an adjunct professor at Brookdale Community College. She served in marketing, database management, and circular publications manager roles. And during our conversation, you will be hearing about a very exciting upcoming eighth I can't believe it's been 8 years. 8th anniversary of Women Rock Entrepreneurs, a unique symposium focusing on women entrepreneurs. Educationally, Jackie earned her BA in Liberal Arts from Hunter College, her Master of Business Administration with an MBA specialization in entrepreneurship, and her Doctorate of Management from the University of Maryland Global Campus. I'm just tripping all over my words today. She serves on multiple nonprofit boards of directors, including Monmouth Arts, Girl Scouts of the Jersey Shore, and the Eastern Monmouth Area Chamber of Commerce, or the EMACC Educational Foundation. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Jackeline Mejias Fuertes, DM, MBA, ...
Oh, Barbara, it is Barbara, and it is wonderful to be here. I know I'm not going to cut your name short, and yes, Barbara gets to call me Jackie because we've known each other for quite some time.
Yes.
So it's absolutely my pleasure to be here and share whatever I can, and hopefully inspire some others to find their purpose or their why.
Yeah, and I'm so glad you were able to fit us in our schedule, because I've actually been trying to get Jackie on the show since we first premiered. It's hard to believe, but we're actually at 6 months. And so it took us this long to find a spot where we could get you with so many things coming on, especially with such a major event coming up, which we're going to talk about more in a couple minutes. So one of the number one questions I ask everybody after we've gone through this amazing list of all of the things they've done over the course of the past, well, not even all of the things, just a brief highlight of some of the things you've done during your career is, I don't necessarily imagine that little Jackie or little Jackeline wanted to or imagine doing the things that you're doing now. So what did you want to be when you were growing up?
Well, little Jackie always wanted to be a doctor. Big Jackie did become a doctor, not exactly the same doctor she was thinking about. It was more of obstetrician is what I was looking to become. And then I entered Hunter College, and that kind of changed in that I realized that, and I guess it was something that was always in me. In my house, we were a bit of a bunch of activists, if you would say. So I found that whenever there was a charge for those that were being underserved or not served properly, I always felt that I had to join that conversation and that I had to do what I could to make life better for others. And I believe that's truly my purpose. I see myself as a change maker, which is more of a definition that's being used now in the last few years than in the past. But it's all about making sure that all the resources and all the partners and the relationships that I have, that I'm able to channel those to individuals who actually need them. So if someone reaches out to me and says, hey, I need help because I have a business idea, but I don't know where to go, or I'm in business and I need to expand, or I'm looking for capital, I'm in an underserved community. That's where, I have a thing not a thing, but one of my past employees gave me once a t-shirt that says, you rise by lifting others, or we rise by lifting others. And she said, this embodies you. And I said, in a selfish way, that is me. I truly believe that we do get better by helping others, and that we live in a world of abundancy, and that there's enough for everyone. And that if we're constantly looking out for ways to make our world a better place, then we're doing a great thing. So for me, I see myself as a change maker. I see myself at bringing those resources to the table, making sure that the communication is there, and that those who need it are receiving the services. So as a child, I know my mom had her hands full with 3 girls that were a big kind of an activist. I have a sister in California. We all teach, which is wild.
Wow.
That's the one thing I never thought I was going to go into, teaching. By no means. Teaching came into, I want to say, this chapter of my life, which I truly believe I have more chapters to come. But in this chapter was that I realized I do have a love for helping others, and in that, part of it is education, because education was so impactful in my life, and it made such an amazing change as to the way I live, the way my family lives. There's a whole thing about education and it being that equalizer, and for me, it did that. It did help me, move from growing up. I never realized I was poor. I realized it afterwards. Who knew, right? Because I had a happy life, so I never thought.
So your parents made sure that with the love that they provided and the home that they provided, that you may not have had a lot of money, but
Right.
you weren't poor.
Right. It depends on how economically. Let's go that way versus all the love that my parents had to give us, and all the guidance that they were able to provide was crucial. I'm a reflection of them. That they always taught us, first of all, community is key. You have to give back to your community. That's why I sit on so many boards. Some I get off because I'm like, okay, I've already reached my purpose in this board, so now let me vacate the seat so someone else could come in and do some more work. But I know that everyone that I sit on, I do something to make it better. And if I'm not doing something, then I don't belong on that board. But it's all about giving back to the community. So for me, education and community, that's part of who I am. That's how I've raised my children, to know that they have to give back to community. The community is key. And that's why I said we live in a world of abundance, and that we can share the knowledge, the inspiration with so many. And the entrepreneurial part really comes from watching my mom. My mom was a serial entrepreneur, as I tell many, never had a registered legal business, meaning that she never registered a business in her life. However, at home, she was a caterer, she was an upholsterer, she was a seamstress, and you would be surprised how many people in our community knew her, right, and her services. So for me, it was like, I want to, at one point in my life, have my own business, and I did do that. At one stage, for about 8 years, here in New Jersey, I ran my own business, and it was amazing. And the only reason I gave it up was because I felt that chapter and that purpose, I met it. So the next stage was actually joining, as Barbara Ann has stated, the Small Business Development Center here in New Jersey at Brookdale Community College, which happens to be an amazing host to our SBDC. And they allowed me to even grow further in the world of entrepreneurship. And it all revolves around education.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that even, whether it's in the small business development centers or some other resource providers, and even within the Small Business Administration, which is one of your partners along with the state and the college, a lot of us have actually been entrepreneurs. So we're giving back even in our jobs to that community. Now, we had one of your counterparts on much earlier this year, Elaine McLean, who's a regional director on the opposite side of the state. But for our audience that's still joining us, can you explain to them what America's Small Business Development Centers are.
Absolutely. So for us, the mission is pretty simple for the Americas SBDC, which you could find nationwide. Here in the state of New Jersey, it's actually a network. And what we do provide is education and confidential one-on-one no-cost counseling. And that education is to help your business grow or your business idea become formalized. It's about making sure that the venture that you're going into becomes sustainable. Because if we're creating sustainable businesses in the regions that we serve, economy is better for everyone involved. So through our confidential no-cost counseling, that's our second arm. That's really what the ASBDC is known for. And it's really about allowing individuals to know that anything they tell us is confidential, even though you mentioned we are hosted or funded in part, through the SBA and the state of New Jersey through the Business Action Center, that we don't share that information. So when you come to us, understand that it is totally confidential. So this way you can open up to us. Because if you are confident that you're talking to us and we're not sharing that information, you'll be honest. And if you're honest, then we know exactly how is it that we can assist you in moving forward in your venture, in your idea. And our goal really is helping you create that sustainable business. Because businesses, I could tell you, and you know very well, can start. However, are they sustainable?
Right.
Are they gonna be around in 8-10 years? Yep. If that's what you want for your business? Not necessarily. So we really work hard in making sure that we are providing you with the latest information on business development. It doesn't matter what it is, one way or the other, we're sharing information. And the beautiful part of it is that we have an amazing footprint here in the state of New Jersey, that it's not, we cover one county and not the other. We cover all 21 counties, which is pretty amazing for an organization here in the state of New Jersey.
Yeah. Believe it or not, it's already time for a break.
Oh, that went rather quickly.
So we're going to talk more about the America's Small Business Development Centers, how you found your way into the regional director role, and then, of course, this amazing Women Entrepreneurs Rock event that has a little bit of a pivot this year.
Yes.
So please join us again after the commercial break for more with Dr. Jackeline Mejias Fuertes. Welcome back to What the Why with Barbara Ann and today's special guest, Dr. Jackeline Mejias. And I ain't made sure I would pronounce this right. I've still been pronouncing it wrong, but it's Dr. Jackeline Mejias Fuertes. And she is the regional director for the America's Small Business Development Center at Brookdale Community College here in New Jersey. And she was telling us before the break about how you're part of a network that covers the entire state of New Jersey. And so you're doing things regional, but you're also doing things on a statewide level as well.
That is correct, we do.
And you have an upcoming event.
Yes, we do.
You saw a picture at you saw a picture in the beginning when I was introducing her. But Women Entrepreneurs Rock, which actually used to have it at the same place that Bruce Springsteen got his start.
I know, at the Stone Pony.
And I can't believe it's been 8 years since that very first event and how much this has grown. So please tell our audience about Women Entrepreneurs Rock, how you came up with the idea and how it's evolved.
Okay, well, I would love to claim that it was only my idea, but no, I've been fortunate to have team members who we realized that through data, reviewing our data, how women entrepreneurs was a segment that was growing in our area. And in conjunction with that, we have some wonderful individuals in our community who really wanted to see what else they could do for women, and we came up with this event called Women Entrepreneurs Rock. The piece Rock, Carolyn O'Toole, I have to give credit out to her, the manager of the Stone Pony, said, yeah, and why don't you have it here at a rock venue? So that started the whole conversation, and changing your regular venue, taking it, we are entrepreneurs. Everyone on my team has some characteristic of an entrepreneur. And we just said, okay, we're going to change what everybody's accustomed to. We're going to change that. Now we have a panelist of speakers. We give you an opportunity to network. ends up with mentorship, making the connections. And every year we realize that, there's a certain theme that revolves around women entrepreneurs. How is it that we help them? Whether it was on leadership, financing, pathways, because as women entrepreneurs, we're caregivers. I want to say most of us are really caregivers. Yes. And because of that, the challenges that we encountered. So by bringing this all together and getting the community involved, Women Entrepreneurs Rock was born. And since then, we are on our 8th, which is pretty amazing to us, but we decided to pivot this year. Because of last year, we had something in March, and then we didn't have anything in October, which during October 17th, during that week, it is Women International Entrepreneurship Week.
Yes.
And because of that, it turned out that we were celebrating it during the same time.
And you didn't even,
and we didn't even know. We didn't even know. But anyway, so that occurred. So every year since, except last year, because of COVID, my team was exhausted. And so was I. And I took it, I said it's on me, not on my team, that I said we just can't do it. We didn't have the bandwidth, we were exhausted, and I have to say my team was pretty happy about that. That being said, we decided to come back and make it a symposium. So this year, instead of one event, you end up with 3. So out of those 3 events, while we would love to have it back at the Stone Pony, because of the calendars, couldn't make it happen. So we're having it at Whitechapel Project, which is in Long Branch, and one of our special speakers is Marilyn Schlossbach, who is the owner of Whitechapel Project, has been on our panelists, was actually one of our awardees, because we do give out award for humanitarianism and badassery, and so
which I love. Not everybody can say they have an award in humanitarians and badassery. Like let's be realistic.
I know, so that's amazing. In terms of a woman. We're working on our keynote speaker there. So the first event is going to be at Maryland's Place, Whitechapel Project. That's going to run from 6 to 10. The following day, which is a Tuesday, we're running webinars all day. So this way, if you can't attend one, perhaps you could attend the other. And then we are taking it back to Asbury Park, because Carolyn O'Toole was gracious enough. I couldn't get that out.
See, my tripping over words has become contagious.
She's providing this space for us at Wonder Bar. So Wonder Bar is where we will be having our closing event, and in that closing event, we're really going to focus on the financing of a business for women. So all 3 events are going to happen during that week. We are super excited over the fact that we added to it. And anyone who's attended Women Entrepreneurs Rock in the past have enjoyed it immensely. I mean, you can visit our website, mosbdc.com, for more information on it. Also, to see a video of what happened a few years ago, so you can see what it entails and how amazing these speakers, panelists are, and what they share and what they bring to the table, and how much we learn from it. It's the one event I refuse to MC, because I love sitting back and listening to what they have to share with the rest of the community for women. So I do hope I see you there. Make sure you visit our website, which is mosbdc.com. Right there on the bottom, we'll say Women Entrepreneurs Rock, 8th annual event. Make sure you click on that for more information.
And I can't speak highly enough. I mean, if you think that this amazing woman is a ball of energy, imagine an atmosphere of that kind of energy amongst all of the people who are attending. And even though it's changed a little bit this year, I think it's exciting, because in some ways it's actually more inclusive.
Absolutely.
In terms of, 'cause not everybody still is comfortable going out. So there's something for everybody, whether it's in person, a little bit closer to where they live one night versus the different night, and whether it's online.
Right.
Because
we know
so many women entrepreneurs are actually working their businesses late at night after everything else that's been done. So this gives so much more freedom and flexibility to reach a broader audience, even if we're not all together simultaneously.
Right. So we are hoping for that, because we actually had pivoted during the pandemic and we went online. And even then we had a crowd, but now it's a matter of taking it back out. But, hybrid, making it comfortable, as you stated. for us to make sure we bring as much information we can to all the women entrepreneurs who are out there.
Which is awesome. So as we start to wind down, believe it or not, you know, a lot of people may be very inspired, both either by becoming an entrepreneur or maybe business owners that are interested in sharing their expertise and helping pave the path and pay it forward for other entrepreneurs. What advice would you give someone who's interested in either of those? You could pick either one or the other.
For anyone who's looking to give back, because that is part of who I am, is giving back, I always say look locally and expand from there. See what you could do in your backyard, what organizations are out there that are helping businesses or individuals. And what we realize is we live in an amazing world. We live in an amazing nation. We have so many different dialects, I want to say languages. So if you speak a specific language and you can actually help an individual understand English within, and how to run a business in their own language, to me that is key. I am a Latina, as Barbara Ann has been trying to work out my last name here, and I'm bilingual. And the fact that I'm bilingual has helped so many individuals, create their business, grow their business to the point that it's changing their lives. So it's upward mobility that we're trying to do for everyone that we serve, no matter what the language is. So that would be my main recommendation. And, it's always about perseverance, being persistent and persevering. So it doesn't matter, you're trying to help someone and doors get shut or they can't use you right now. Continue on that journey. Someone will eventually knock on your door and say, I can use your services. And also, reach out to the SBDC.
Yes.
Like I said, we cover all 21 counties. We're always looking for those that either want to give back or sometimes be our consultants. I have to tell you, if you're one of our consultants, you don't do it for the money. No. So I need to put that out there.
You also do it as the give back part.
Exactly. That is the give back point here. But definitely, we can use those services to further assist those in underserved communities that can really use our help and our guidance. And you would be surprised at the outcome. The outcomes in my life have been amazing. And selfishly, we rise by lifting others.
Yes.
I'm selfish in that point because every time I help someone rise, I feel amazing. So call me a little selfish, but I like that.
And I think that's awesome. And believe it or not, we are out of time.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me, Barbara.
I'm so glad
I
you're
am
here.
so happy.
And I know you already mentioned where people can reach you, but again, can you just state, of course they can always rewind and look at the flyer as well, but if you could state the web address again one more time.
Sure. Visit us at mosbdc.com, and it stands for Monmouth Ocean Small Business Development Center. So if you just put that in anything, whether it's in social media, you put it up on our website, you will receive more information regarding Women Entrepreneurs Rock. Just look under our news event, and it's there.
And it's coming soon.
Absolutely,
very
in
soon.
a few weeks.
So I cannot express how appreciative I am that you took time out of your crazy schedule with this extremely exciting event.
Has been all mine.
I mean, it's always great to see you, but I know I really empathize with your schedule. So, thanks again.
My pleasure.
And
Absolutely.
regarding our upcoming shows, in light of ever-changing schedules, I'm no longer going to be announcing the next week's guest because things happen, pivot. So I'm just going to kind of comfortably share with you upcoming guests, and we do have some really exciting guests coming up. They include Ian Hanley, who you may remember before. He's a licensed clinical social worker. Licensed? See, it's not just your name. It's not a language name. Licensed clinical social worker who's going to be launching a show of his own here on RVN Network. Another guest that's been here before, Jo Colantonio of Ignite Business Partners. She's going to be here with a partner named Jennifer Gantz, who owns her own company, and they are co-launching an International Coach Federation team coaching product nationwide. Additionally, I've got Judy Ray Alloway, who's CEO of Women's Business Co-op and wearer of many other hats. Bonnie Clayton, owner of The Web Chick, the tech geek with a creative streak. And Michelle Beauchamp, CEO of the Champ Group, who is going to be one of our remote guests joining us to talk about her international training, coaching, and diversity, equity, and inclusion work. So please, believe me when I say you really don't want to miss any of our upcoming guests and hear about their journeys. As a reminder, What the Why airs on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and Monday afternoons at 3:30 p.m. and is also available on demand and Roku and coming soon to additional platforms such as Apple TV and others. And please remember, whether you're looking to make a change in your business or life, no matter how big or small, please tune in for more informative and exciting conversations with leaders such as Jackie, who found whatever was needed to overcome obstacles and challenges that were in their path, move forward, find their why and their core purpose, and live it.